And the kids back.
Kids back, folks. I'd like to welcome everyone to another great episode of Greek Bull Sitting in the China Shop. Okay, folks, we're going to unveil another rare non-production Cope designed piece here, folks. Okay, very rare. Perhaps one of six. Only six produced is the rumor. Okay, folks. I happen to find a long time standing collector, over 25 years McCoy pottery collector, who actually had this piece in her personal collection. Okay, folks. This is the thing, folks, about it's a real pleasure when the kid runs into a true passionate McCoy pottery collector. Okay, folks, because it's very few and far between that people actually collect for the passion, folks. I've heard some people, they only collect for the resale value, folks. And when you run into a particular collector of this stature, folks, it's a breath of fresh air, and it's always a pleasure to speak with these passionate McCoy pottery collectors who share the same passion as you. Okay, folks?
And you.
That's right, folks. That's why we click. That's why we click. It's the passion, folks. It's not anger. Don't mistake it for anger, folks. It's passion, okay? So moving along, folks, I developed a long-standing relationship with this McCoy pottery collector, and she, just like Frankie, we developed a bond, and she went into telling me how she really coveted this particular piece and how she always wanted to add this particular piece to her collection. Okay, folks? So a few years down the road, folks, she happened to find another McCoy pottery collector who had this particular piece for sale, folks, and through the rumor mill, folks, she happened to discover that this particular piece that was being offered up for sale had actual damage on this piece, and it had actually been sent to a pottery collector who knew how to repair these particular items. Okay, folks? So even though it was professionally restored, folks, she didn't want to add it to her collection because she's an upper end collector, folks, and she didn't want to get any piece, especially of this magnitude, that was damaged. So she happened to pass on this item, okay, folks, and was hoping that one day down the road she would happen to find another one, like it's basically like looking for the needle in the haystack. Okay, folks. So after about 4 or 5 years, folks, she got wind that this particular piece was coming up for auction. It was out of the Tycoon collection. Okay, folks. Tycoon was the glazer at the McCoy Pottery Factor, and the glazer is also known as the Dipper. Okay, folks, who did all the work for the McCoy Pottery Factory. Okay, folks, and Tycoon had developed a long-standing relationship with Leslie Cope. Okay, folks, so this piece was actually given by Leslie Cope to Tycoon, and that's how it came out of Tycoon's collection, and it was actually offered up for sale at an auction at an actual country club. Okay, folks?
You know what? Thank you so much for that detailed description. We never get to know that, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
See, even Bonnie, who doesn't collect invasively, even though she does collect invasively as the kid, she also the passion to collect the McCoy. Okay, folks?
It's beautiful history.
Always love to know the history. Okay, folks? So I thought I had to share the history on this particular piece before I unveiled it, to show you guys how much it means to me that this lady actually entrusted me to give me the call to let me know that this particular piece, which meant a lot to her, she actually wanted me to have it because she understood that I was also a very passionate collector, and she knew that I would cherish it for a very long time to come. Okay, folks? So the way it came about this lady having this particular piece in her collection, folks, the Tycoon collection came up for sale at a country club, folks, and when she got wind that this particular piece that was in mint condition was coming up for sale, folks, for auction, actually, there was no stopping her. Okay, folks? She went in, she actually bid on this item, and long story short, she ended up winning it, where at the end of the auction, when the gavel dropped, she actually was reduced to tears, folks, and it was actually
So nice.
Nelson and Billy McCoy who actually handed this particular piece to her. And when she actually, that evening, when she actually went out to dinner with both Nelson and Billy McCoy, she had both Nelson and Billy McCoy sign this particular piece.
That's so awesome. So awesome. Thank you.
Unbelievable story, folks. Really unbelievable story, folks.
I got tears in my eyes too.
Don't cry. Dry your eye, Bonnie. Dry your eye.
It's a beautiful history.
We got work
right?
to do here.
It's It's okay.
We're on the clock. I still got 5,000 calories to burn. All right, so getting back, folks.
To burn or to eat?
To eat, to smash.
Yeah.
Okay, so getting back, folks. The first particular piece. It's interesting, folks, with a lot of these old-time McCoy pottery collectors, because when Frankie was around, me and Frankie developed a bond that a lot of these old-school McCoy pottery collectors weren't aware of, and basically Frank trusted me with his life, and I also trusted Frank with my life, folks. And
Nice.
a lot of these, when I came up on the horizon, folks, a lot of these McCoy pottery collectors, for who knows what reason, folks, started hating on the kid. I don't know why, whether it was because I was landing rare non-production pieces or what have you, folks. But for whatever reason, some of these collectors got to talking to Frankie, and they happened to tell Frankie, and Frankie came back to tell me, which is very ironic, folks. And this is the reason why I'm actually sharing this story with you, folks. And you're gonna find this very funny, because when Frank ended up telling me back in the day when we used to shoot the breeze on the phone, Frank would always tell me
Hours and hours.
hours and hours. Frank came upon telling me how some of these McCoy pottery collectors said that they didn't like the kid because the kid, they thought the kid was a show-off, folks. So
You're
when
so humble. What are they talking about?
exactly, so when they don't get my sense of humor,
Right.
it's the lack of emotional intelligence, Bonnie. The
Right.
lack of emotional intelligence. But
Exactly.
moving along, folks, Frank ended up confiding in me as the good man that he was, and he ended up telling me some of these collectors that were patting me on the back end, were actually saying that they didn't like the kid because the kid was a show-off. And it's interesting that this story came about, folks, because the piece that this fellow lady happened to pass on that was actually damaged was purchased by a particular collector that actually purchased this item. And actually, when he ended up getting it, he ended up calling his group of fellow pottery collectors, and I got to finding out that he was actually bragging about this particular piece.
Gloating
And bragging.
That's okay for him, but not for you.
Right, folks. He
Yeah.
was bragging about this particular piece that he ended up getting because it was such a rare piece. Let alone he did not know that the particular piece he had purchased was actually damaged and it had been restored. So he actually bought it not knowing that it was an actual damaged piece that had been put together, had been refurbished. Okay, folks. So when this lady found out that this collector had purchased it, and she got the phone call, and he was bragging. She was actually laughing and actually didn't confide to him and let him ride on his high horse, thinking that he actually scored the deal of a lifetime when that actual piece was divided in two, was actually put together. Okay, folks? So when she actually shared the story with me, folks, I found it very ironic how this particular collector was calling me the show-off. Meanwhile, when the kid ends up doing the homework, looky what he finds out. Okay, folks? So I actually found that funny, folks. So without further ado, folks, we're going to unveil this very rare piece that came from Leslie Cope to Tycoon, designed by none other than Leslie Cope. Okay, folks? Rumor has it, it's one of 6. Okay, folks? So without further ado, folks, the kid is about to unveil what is another non-production Cope decorated piece. Okay, folks? Here we go, folks.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Non-production, my second McCoy non-production Leslie Cope fish picture. Okay, folks?
Beautiful.
At the bottom, Bonnie, at the bottom, signed by both Leslie,
Oh yeah, there's one.
by both Nelson and Billy McCoy.
Can you lift it up again one more time? Hang on. So I'll do there. Okay, it's focused, and there. That's gorgeous. What a beautiful story.
One of my most favorite pieces, folks. Mint condition. The fellow pottery collector, lovely lady, entrusted me. She could have sold it to anybody, folks. She decided to pick up the phone and call the kid, okay, folks? Because she knew that I'm a passionate, caring collector, folks, and she knew that it would be in good hands because as opposed to other collectors, I actually know, folks, I have the emotional intelligence to know
Right on.
I'm actually a caretaker of these items, folks.
Right on.
And when my time comes, folks, I'm going to pass them along to let other fellow pottery collectors share these items, enjoy these items, just like I'm about to enjoy them, okay, folks?
Good for you.
I'm not going to store them in some attic and let them rot away or put them in some storage locker so my fellow pottery collectors don't get a chance to enjoy these
Or
magnificent
hide
pieces.
them that you can't even get a picture.
That's right, folks.
Horrible people.
Okay? So, folks, before I see you guys out, I'm going to see you guys out with one last word. You can call it the good word of the day. You can call it whatever word of the day. Okay, folks? So for those McCoy pottery collectors on the other side of the fence that says or that say that the kid is a show-off, folks, always remember, never forget, the kid never shows off. He always shows out. Okay,
Good
folks?
for you.
Cheers, folks.
Cheers.
I love you
Bravo.
all. See you next time on the next pottery episode, okay?
Bravo, bravo. Good for you, Theo. Bravo.